Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks so much for watching, whether you're watching now, later, whenever. I appreciate you tuning in. And NFL fans, the season is officially back. It never really leaves, in my opinion, but technically it's back. Thursday night football, Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City tonight. And going to be doing a little planetary pregame, how I usually roll. I have the chart pulled up for the game tonight. Slated for 7:20 Central Time. That's what I could find. So that's the chart that I pulled. I'm going to share the chart and then I'm going to make a prediction on who I think is going to be the winner. So, all right. With that being said, let me grab my nerd notes here. And I think I just got something on my arm from my notes, but that's okay. I did look at this a little bit. I would have liked to look at this chart a little bit more, but hey, this is how we're going to roll. And so tonight, too, I wonder how many celebrities are going to be in the house, being it's at Kansas City, and we all know, or the majority of us know about the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. So, will there be a Taylor Swift sighting tonight, or multiple sightings of Taylor Swift? I do believe she is going to be at the game, per the chart, and then just kind of some rumblings that I heard or saw on Twitter. So, yeah, and there's been some new stuff regarding those two about their alleged relationship. But anyway, so like I said, it's the Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City, and I'm going to pull the chart up and I'm going to make a prediction. So let me see here. Okay. Let me make sure I got the right one. I want the one that's a little bit bigger. All right, here we go. Okay, so for this evening, all right, let me just get that all situated there. All right, very, very good. I'm going to blow this up a little bit as well. It's a little small. It's a little small for my liking. Okay, that's too big. All right. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Everybody can see my pointer as well, so when I'm talking about stuff, then it'll kind of like make a little bit more sense if you can see the pointer. All right, so the way that I do the predictions is I will look at each team. Each team is going to be represented by a planet this evening, and then I'm going to look at the moon, how the moon is communicating with each of those planets, basically each of the teams. And then I'm going to look at each team's fifth house. The fifth house in astrology rules games and recreation and entertainment. And then I'm going to look at the 10th house for each team as well, because that is the public image of each team. So, yes. All right. I got to say hi to Angel. Angel, I want to say hi to you. And of course, you know it that I can give you a Gumby cameo. Thank you for joining. We all have our wings now. Appreciate it. Could we start out this season with a quick Gumby cameo? Of course. Let me roll my chair over here because I did like kind of shift stuff around. So now I have to scoot a little bit further back to get Gumby. I'm going to just roll right over here. I'm going to try to roll back. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I forgot his, he used to have like a little stand over here that I was going to put up, but all right. And I think Gumby is probably sweating because it's like, he's got two sweaters on and stuff. He is honestly the real star of the show right here. So you ask and you shall get. Woohoo! Are the Vikings going to stink this season or are they going to be good? We don't know. I'm made out of clay. I'm Gumby. Okay. It's so funny. I always want to like situate. So he's got this Vikings cape on. For those of you that don't know, I am a Vikings fan. Semi begrudgingly, but anyway. There you go. Starting off on a good foot with Gumby. Yeah, I love that. I shall always appease. And like I said, Gumby's the real star over here. All right. For those of you that have been on the channel for a while, you know that Grover used to hang out back there. And Grover actually is technically hanging out back there. He's just in the other room. He used to be the star of the show too, so it's really only Gumby here. I need to get, you know what I need to get too? I need to get like Gumby a little like I don't know, so he can like hang out on the chair or something. I don't know. I guess he could sit there and then watch him fall. He go, oh no. Anyway, all right. So there's Gumby for you, Angel. I know that you appreciate it, and then I'll just leave Gumby. Well, actually, I'll put him back over here. Seriously, his cape and sweater. All right, Gumby's back. We got Wendy the plant over here. If anybody's wondering, that's Wendy. Okay. And then I got my succulents over here. All right, we're back. So I'm going to pull up the chart again, but I had to do the little Gumby share, of course. Okay. I love that. That makes me laugh. Okay. Seriously, he's just like the star of the show. All right. So, chart for tonight. Again, Ravens, Kansas City. And I'm never saying their name because Kansas City's name because it's offensive as hell. And their whole song, I don't even want to get into that right now. Most of you know how I feel about that. So, anyway, at the Kansas City Chefs. And two, let's just kick it back to that Snickers commercial, right? Because they should really have that as their name anyway. So, okay. So again, here's the chart for tonight. Like I said, I'm going to look at the planets that are representing each team. I'm going to look at what those planets are doing with the moon. I'm going to look at the 5th house for each team. That's the house of games and recreation and entertainment. And then I'm going to look at the 10th house, which is how they're going to appear to the public. So, excuse me. I did make mention, excuse me. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. All right. Choking on my own spit over here. I can't talk. So, I do think as well that there will be some celebrities in the house tonight. We're probably going to see a Taylor Swift cameo. I did, without even looking at the chart and like the rumors and rumblings, it sounds like she's going to be there. But one thing that really stuck out to me in the chart was like, okay, she's totally going to be there, is the fact that Jupiter down here is in Kansas City's 4th house. Their 4th house is their home base, the stadium. So Jupiter expands everything. So Jupiter is making what's called a trine. That's very good communication. It's harmonious communication with Venus. Venus rules women, obviously. And then also not to mention that the moon is very close, just leaving Venus. And the moon is kind of rules like the people and like the public, celebrity sphere. And also the fact that Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So Venus is in Libra right now. Venus rules Libra, rules women, and also making a trine to Jupiter. Again, Jupiter expands things. Jupiter is in Kansas City's 4th house of home. So that just makes me think there's going to be a big splash by like a famous woman. So that leads me to believe that it's going to be Taylor Swift at the game tonight. And yeah, so that's what I think. And then I'm going to bust into the prediction here. Oh, you're taking the Ravens tonight. Nice. Okay, 28-24. That's who Angels got. Great googly moogly. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Did I say that right? Gaggly, maggly, mugly? I don't know. I like it. But anyway, so I do think that we're going to get a Taylor sighting, a Swift sighting, and all of that ruckus that came out about their relationship or whatever, the documents or whatever that is. It's like, it makes me think that was maybe like leaked on purpose, because look at all the extra attention that these two are getting into the opening game, right? So might get into that a little bit more, but all right. So let me talk about the teams tonight. So I'm going to start with Kansas City. They're the home team. So Kansas City, they're represented over here by the sign of Pisces in their 1st house. And speaking of Jupiter, Pisces is ruled traditionally by Jupiter. So the Kansas City Chefs, they're in their own house tonight, and also making good harmonious aspect with the moon. So straight away, yeah, right there. I mean, that looks pretty good for Kansas City. And not to mention that the moon over here in Libra also represents Kansas City's 5th house of games, how they're going to play the game. And it's also in Baltimore's first house of their body. So it's like right away I'm like, okay, Kansas City, that looks pretty good for them. But we're not going to just stop right there. Taking another sip of my tea. And then, like I said, I'm going to look at the fifth house for each team, which I did for Kansas City. Their fifth house is ruled by the moon. And then it's kind of small, but right here is the lot of victory. It's an Arabic lot, and it's kind of how it says. It's the lot of victory. It's also in Kansas City's fifth house. I just kind of look at lots a little bit. I don't rely on the lots predominantly. So for Kansas City, their 10th house, how they're going to show out to the public tonight, that's ruled by Sagittarius right over here, the Archer. Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter. Again, Jupiter expands everything that it touches. So, again, how the Kansas City chefs appear to the public tonight, it's right down here in their home base, right next to what's called their IC, the Ilium Coli. And I just think this is going to be a huge splash of a game. I mean, it is the opening game of the NFL season, so obviously it's going to be a big one, but it's just funny that the chart actually reflects that in itself too. All right. So another thing that I do want to just kind of touch on here is Mars. Mars is the planet of anger, ambition, drive, cutting, fires. That is now moved in the sign of Cancer, and Mars doesn't necessarily feel completely comfortable in the sign of Cancer. So maybe that leads me to believe there might be a little bit of anger, maybe with some Kansas City fans, something like that, maybe a little bit of frustration, or that could also just turn into like they are extra amped tonight, especially if Taylor Swift does make an appearance. That's just going to like amplify everything, I think. What do you got, Ryan? Well, at least this game won't be worse than the garbage the Gophers tried to pass off as a game of football. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to take your word for that, Ryan, because I didn't watch that. Most of you know that I don't really watch college sports, but all right. Good to know. The Gophers. It's like, that's my alma mater, and I'm still just like, I don't really care. I mean, I'm a Minnesota sports fan, but like, whatever. But yeah, hopefully this game is entertaining. All right. So another thing I did just want to touch on for Kansas City that I don't like. I don't like for them that they have the planet Saturn right here. Saturn is retrograde, so it's moving in a different way. Normally the planets move forward, kind of move spinning one way. When they're retrograde, they act a little different and they spin backwards. So it can kind of like change things up. Saturn has been retrograde for a while. And we normally popular here about Mercury retrograde, but every planet does retrograde. Anyway, so Saturn's been retrograde for a while, but for Kansas City, I don't like that per se because Saturn can represent blockages and delays, and it's a karmic planet. It's like Father Time as well, like the karmic teacher. So I don't really like that for Kansas City per se, that they have that in their first house. I have seen Saturn when it's predominant in a game chart. I have seen that in the past before kind of turn into either one of the teams either wins or loses with like time expiring or some sort of like overtime issue. I have seen that in the past before when Saturn is coming up, in the chart. So that's one thing to note there as well. Okay, for Kansas City. But I do like for Kansas City that the moon, which we look at anyway because she's just kind of like one of the main rulers of the sky with the sun. I do like for them that the moon and Jupiter again rules Kansas City tonight. They are in really good harmonious aspect is what it's called. And Jupiter's at 19 degrees in Gemini, and the moon is at 15 degrees in Libra. So actually, to Angel's point, that would maybe lead me to believe some sort of like 4-point spread differential here. But we're going to keep going, okay? I hope not too many penalties either. It's just like that can be a snooze fest. And then also, I'm gonna knock on wood, but like no ties. It's stupid. I don't even know why they have that as an option. It's ridiculous, and I don't like it. Okay. So, anyway, all right. Now let's go to Baltimore and kind of touch on them a little bit here. Obviously, we need to talk about them because they're the visiting team. So Baltimore is represented right over here by house number 7, which lands in the sign of Virgo. Now, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So the Baltimore Ravens, they're Mercury tonight. And again, Kansas City is Jupiter. So Mercury is right over here in the sign of Leo. Mercury is at 25 degrees of Leo. And Mercury and the moon, they're in they will be what's called a sextile, which is good communication. It's harmonious. However, the moon is going to make a stop and talk to Jupiter, that being Kansas City, first before the moon talks to Mercury. So I don't really that's good for Baltimore, but not as good as the trine per se. Okay. And then the 5th house for Baltimore, which represents their game, how they're going to play the game tonight, the 5th house for them lands in the sign of Capricorn right over here. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. We were just talking about Saturn. So Mercury, again, the Baltimore Ravens, and their game tonight against Saturn, they're not doing anything. Okay. Mercury and Saturn are not communicating with one another. Also, not to mention that Saturn again is retrograde. Instead of moving in a specific direction, it's moving the other way. And it's in Kansas City's 1st house. So that leads me to believe that I do think that this game is going to be close, and I do think that Baltimore is going to come out swinging. They're gonna make it. They're not gonna make it easy for Kansas City, okay? But because again, Saturn is in Kansas City's 1st house of their self, their physical body. However, between Mercury, the Baltimore Ravens, and how they play their game, though they're way far away, okay? They're almost in what's called an inconjunct or a quincux, but that's still not the most positive aspect. So I don't necessarily like that too much for Baltimore. And then the 10th house for Baltimore, how they're going to show out to the public tonight, that's also represented by Mercury, because Baltimore's 10th house is right over here in the sign of Gemini. And so Mercury rules Baltimore, and it also rules how they're going to show up to the public tonight. Again, Jupiter is making a good aspect with the moon, and Jupiter does land in Kansas City's house of home, and Baltimore, how they're going to show out tonight. So again, I don't think Baltimore is going to come out here and fall flat or anything like that. They're going to hold strong and hold it in there. But right now, I'm going to keep going because there's a couple other things I want to look at and talk about before I make the prediction. But I do think it's going to be close. Both of these teams have some good and have some bad. I mean, that's usually how it goes. So also for Baltimore, if you see, they have the sun in their 1st house, they have the moon there, and they also have Venus. Okay. So I like that for Baltimore. I like the fact that the moon is making good aspect with Jupiter for them. So it's just, but how they play the game is represented by Saturn, and Saturn is retrograde. It's not doing anything with their ruler. So for Baltimore, I'm I need more here. I need something more positive here. Okay. And another thing for Venus landing in Baltimore's 1st house here, Venus is in a sign to which she rules. So that's very, very good. But Venus is in conjunct or quincux, again, Saturn, which represents Baltimore's game. So it's just it can't quite connect. And also, not to mention, the moon in Libra is quincux or in conjunct 150 degrees away approximately from Saturn. So it's like Baltimore's kind of like way far away from like their actual game. Okay. And then not to mention too, that the sun for Baltimore does also represent them because it's in their first house. The sun is completely opposite Saturn, completely opposite Baltimore's game, how they play the game tonight. So I don't really like that per se for Baltimore either. All right. And another thing that I do just want to look at here is I talked about the lot of victory, which is an Arabic lot. I do also want to just briefly touch on the lot of fortune. The lot of fortune is right over here in Kansas City's first house. The lot of fortune is at, it looks like, I think it's at 8 degrees of Aries. And it's also making good communication with Kansas City, that being Jupiter right there. So right there, I'm like, okay. And I have to stay as objective as possible when I do the charts. Personally, I would prefer if Baltimore won the game because I'm sick of Kansas City. But I have to stay objective here. So the lot of fortune is making good communication with Kansas City, that being Jupiter over here. It's in a very like wide communication with Mercury, that being Baltimore. So, all right, there's some good for Kansas City and maybe not so good for Baltimore. Another thing for Baltimore that I'm a little concerned about them is the fact that their ruler, Mercury, is over here in Leo, but it's in their 12th house of hidden enemies. So it's like potentially like Baltimore might be their own worst enemy tonight. Okay. But I mean, that's just how it goes. So, yeah, with all of that being said, I am going to take Kansas City to win tonight. And, you know, I say this every time, and I'm going to say it again. It's like I've been right before, I've been wrong before. So we'll just have to see. But I always want to give like an explanation, obviously, of what I'm looking at and how I come to like these conclusions. So, kind of to Angel's point, he said Baltimore 28, Kansas City 24. That was his prediction. I am going to say that Kansas City does win tonight by a point spread of like 1 to 4 points. That's what I'm going with. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, everybody I think is excited for the season. It is exciting just to get things going, get things popping. And yeah, this is my first NFL chart prediction of the year. Obviously, official one. I did a couple preseason games, but it's like officially official. So yeah, I definitely want us to start the season. I hope I started on a high note and get the prediction right. But personally, I'm over Kansas City. I'm over them. Over it. Blech. Whatever. We're over it. Yeah, we're over it. Yes, we're sick of it. Okay. I am with you on there. I am with you. So I'm just going to type in my prediction. There we go. Alrighty. So sick of it. Yeah, we're over it. And the thing is too, and I mentioned this the other day when I was streaming, that the thing is like, hold on. Hey. My dog is chewing a rug. Sorry. Don't do that. All right. Man, she's doing a number on this rug, I tell you what. The poor rug, look at it. Oh, no, the little piece. Ah! She just wants attention. She just wants to be the star. That's all. She's over here. They say hi to you. Angel says hi, Deej. Angel says hi. You want to come up? You want to come up? No. Come up. She's like, no, I'm not coming up there. Yeah. She says hi back. Thank you. Deej, come over here. Come over here. She usually never comes up in this seat. I've said this before. You want to come up here? I'm rolling around. She's like, what the F's going on? Deej, come here. Come over here. Come here. She was just right here. And then, of course, when I wanted her to come over here, now she runs away. Naturally. All All right. If she comes back over, I'll try to get her on. But she's like, no, I think I'm in trouble because, yeah, man, homegirl doing a number on the rugs. But you know what? Anyway, so yeah, I passed off your hellos. Gigi, everybody says hi to you. They want to see you. She just turned her head. Gigi, come over here. Do you want to come over? Here. Over here. She's like, something's up. You're calling me over there. You don't normally call me over there. That's so funny. Maybe she'll come over. Summer Home, hello. Thanks for joining. She is the star. Yeah, she is. I mean, it's really honestly all about Gumby and all about the dog, all about Gigi. So that's pretty much what it's about. Oh, she's creeping back over, everybody. She's creeping back over here. Hi. Now she's gone. All right. So anyway, that's the prediction. That's what I think. Kansas City wins tonight. But I will say this, and I always say this every single time that I do one of these predictions. I always like to go back and check my work, whether it's right or wrong. At the end of the game, I'm going to know, right? I'm going to know. So I'm going to be able to go back and look at the chart. And it's kind of nice to be able to check your work too, because that's another thing I look for. Like when I mentioned Saturn being like predominant in one of the game charts, it's usually like a timing issue. Like the team either wins with time expiring or is trying to come back and time expires, or they go into overtime. I've seen that many times. So with Saturn in Kansas City's first house today, could come to some like sort of timing issue. Maybe they like try to call a timeout or something and it doesn't get like called in time, something like that. We could see that, but it's always cool to make these little notes and then you can go back and look later. So, and then just not to mention that Venus is in Libra. The moon just separated from Venus. Venus rules women. The moon also rules the feminine, rules the people, rules celebrities. And Venus and the moon are making good harmonious aspect communication with Jupiter. Again, Jupiter expands things. Jupiter is in Kansas City's house, in their home, in their stadium, and it also rules how they're going to show out to the public tonight. So I do think that Taylor Swift is going to be there. I do think there's going to be a big splash, like celebrity splash there as well. But I mean, that really it wouldn't be like too big of a surprise, right? But it's just interesting that the chart does reflect that. Now, on the flip side, if she doesn't show up, I will actually be very surprised by that, and I'll have to kind of look at maybe what caused that. But I do definitely think she'll be there. There'll probably be some other celebrities there with her too, other women, famous women as well, too. Maybe she'll be sitting by Brittany Mahomes too. So we could see that come into play. Anyway. All right. Hey, Tribe, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at maybe some other stuff here in the chart. I mean, you can just continue to look at the chart until the cows come home. One thing I do like for Baltimore is that their ruling planet, which is Mercury, this evening, Mercury is very, very close to the fixed star Regulus. Regulus sits at 29 degrees of Leo. Leo is already the showstopper in itself. A lot of people with Leo placements are in entertainment, are in the public eye. And when you have a planet or like an angle on Regulus or next to Regulus, it can be very, very powerful. A lot of like popular people, powerful people have planets near Regulus. Again, it's the fixed star in Leo. It's like the royal star. It's the celebrity star, basically. So I should let Gigi make a pick. She's picking at her bone right now. But I guess I could. Yeah, I guess how would we do that? She'd have to come over here for that to happen. So I really wish she would come over here. But she's chewing on one of her bones now. It's like, because this is also like my huge desk where I work. So she kind of knows usually like when I'm over here that I'm working, and don't really have a lot of time to play. So I think that's maybe why she isn't coming over here. But yeah. Also, I just realized my skulls are backwards. Okay. But yeah, if she comes over here, if she comes hither, and it's funny that she was like chewing the rug, right, to get the attention. Then when I give her the attention, I want her to come over here. It's like, girl, hello, hello, we want you over here. But yeah, we'll work on that. I do have a little bit more room now, again, because I moved some stuff around. But anyway, so that's what I have for tonight. And yeah, I'm, again, like I said, I'm always interested to see how it plays out. Um, yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out. And I will say too, like one thing, I'm gonna stick with my prediction that I made. I'm sticking with it because that's how I have to roll. Is just you make a prediction, you go with it. But one thing for Kansas City too that I did not mention that I'm looking at right now is that they're ruled by Jupiter tonight, and Jupiter is in Gemini. Jupiter is what's called in its detriment in Gemini. So it doesn't necessarily feel completely comfortable in the sign of Gemini because it normally is in the sign, because it rules the sign opposite to it. It rules Sagittarius and also Pisces. So when a planet is in the sign opposite to which it rules, it doesn't feel comfortable there. So it doesn't usually act at like its most powerful. It doesn't have the most powerful impact because it's in its detriment. So it's a little bit kind of lackluster. But yeah, with Jupiter so close to Kansas City's, again, IC, and in their fourth house of home, I do think that there's going to be like an extra big splash tonight of like attention. Like I said, celebrities, in particular female celebrities. So Taylor Swift being there, Taylor Swift maybe bringing a few of her friends with, like Blake Lively or I don't know, some of her other like female friends that are celebrities as well. I could definitely see that happening tonight. So we shall see. All right. So that's what I got. And then I did just want to look at Twitter just to see if there's any news since I started streaming about what's going on with the game tonight. Okay, why does this say that the game is starting at, okay, I almost freaked out because on Twitter it says the game starts at 6:20 and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because the time is so crucial with the chart. It's very, very important. And I've had the wrong time plugged in before and I double checked, but I think that was like the Pacific time zone because Central Time, 7:20 is the kickoff. So I'm going with that. And yeah, like I said, Kansas City and yeah. Personally, once again, I do want the Ravens to win, but when I do the charts, I got to look at it objectively. So, and then another thing too, I just wanted to double check this. I just looked it up over here on my other screen. Is Lamar Jackson? He is a sun. He has a sun sign in Capricorn. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which Saturn also represents Baltimore's fifth house of how they're going to play the game tonight. But Saturn is retrograde and it's also far away from Baltimore in itself. So I just found that interesting too, that Lamar Jackson being a Capricorn, and his ruler is retrograde right now. And then Saturn also rules Baltimore's how they play the game tonight. So he could step up too, or he might just be maybe a little bit like off of his game a little bit. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, he has a sun sign in Virgo. I'm like 80% sure. I better look that up again. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes is a Virgo. He might just have had his birthday, or he's going to have his birthday. Okay, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a Virgo. His birthday is September 17th. So I kind of find it interesting that Mercury rules Virgo, which rules Patrick's sun sign, so who he is at his core. And Mercury, again, which rules Virgo, is right next to this fixed star Regulus, which is like the fame, powerful star. And so Patrick Mahomes is one of his main rulers, that being Mercury, is very, very close to this fixed star. So, I mean, he always gets attention anyway, but it just might be some extra, like, he might have like maybe an extra good game today. Like, come out like swinging. First game, like, we're making a huge splash here. We're not going anywhere. This being like Kansas City and such. So, these are just some things that I'm looking at with the chart. So we'll see how that's reflected in the game too. So, all right. Grandizer, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well. And yeah, we have it's 6:44 Central Time. So it's always good to look at the charts and see what happens. So yeah, I'll be watching this one just to see how it plays out. And yeah, but again, going with Kansas City. Again, personally, I don't want them to win. I'm over it. I would love it if Baltimore. That would be the one thing. Like, as an astrologer, I want to read the chart right and get the prediction right. But like, personally, if I do have to be wrong, like, that would be fine. You know, if Baltimore goes ahead and takes the win, right? So, yeah, that would be okay with me. All right. Desperately seeking a Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl with Sports and Stars with Jade. Exactly. We'll see. And then just to touch on the Vikings a little bit, because they're my home team, my home NFL team. I was hearing on the radio today that there was some positivity regarding Sam Darnold. So, I do want to let me look at Sam Darnold's chart again, because just going off a vibe from Sam Darnold, I'm not like a Sam Darnold expert by any means, but I just have this like feeling that he's going to do better than people project. I mean, everybody was so excited about John, right? About JJ McCarthy coming on, and then that was like a sad shit show. You know, he went down. But it's like, I don't think we can necessarily like forget about Sam Darnold here, because I don't think he's really truly had like an opportunity ever. Let's see when his birthday is. I have a feeling he's a Gemini. He is. Okay. So he's a Gemini. Sam Darnold is a sun in Gemini, ruled by the twins. So there's two sides with Gemini. And interestingly enough, Kevin O'Connell, aka Robert Redford, quarterback whisperer. I'm still waiting to see it. We'll see. Kevin O'Connell is also a Gemini, sun in Gemini, and so is Justin Jefferson, sun in Gemini. Now, could that be too many Geminis? We shall see. But on the positive for the Vikings, they all kind of get each other's vibe, right? Because they all have a sun sign in Gemini. And then oddly enough, too, who else is a sun in Gemini? Or is a sun in Gemini? None other than Mike Zimmer, Satan, right? So again, there's always two sides to Gemini. You got to remember that, because it's the twins. So it's like, for Sam Darnold, okay, we've seen that one side of you that maybe didn't do so well. Now, what are you going to do over here? So I do think that there's more to come. But also, for Sam Darnold, he just turned 27. Approximately ages around 27 to 32, we go through what's called a Saturn return. Now, if Sam Darnold has done and the Saturn return can be tough, because Saturn is all about karma. You got to do the life lessons. You have to learn those lessons to get rewarded by Saturn. Now, if Sam Darnold has been putting the work in, and if he has learned from his past experiences, I would love to look at his whole chart, but if he has done the work, if he has been grinding and he has been putting in the work, trying to get better, because obviously he's an NFL quarterback. That is his career, and career is a huge thing for all of us, right? I could see him being rewarded by this. Now, that's a lot going into that, but anyway. So, just wanted to make mention of that. Go Ravens! Ah, I know. I'd be bummed out about getting the predictions wrong. I mean, whenever I do get them wrong, I'm always like, damn it! But I try to use it as like a launch point to learn. But yeah, I would be happy that Kansas City would lose. I'd be like, hee hee. But as an astrologer, I'd be mad. I'd be like, oh man, what did I F up? If you were wrong, someone turned the exactly. Somebody turned the chart upside down, exactly. But and the thing is when I get the predictions wrong, it's just because I haven't read the chart properly, right? So I mean, it's all there. Right? It's like a snapshot, right, of the time. But yeah, so it's my own damn fault that I don't read it right. But yeah, let's go with Grandizer thing. Somebody turn the chart around. Oh gosh, are you ready? Or are the twins? Yeah. So baseball season, the Twins are actually still in contention. People are still kind of talking about them. And they're still playing. What are their standings right now? I haven't even watched the Twins game this season. I don't even know. Also, I just wanted to shout this out too. R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan passed away. So that's kind of a bummer. Young guy. But I mean, there's been all sorts of tragedies. So, okay, that's only one of many tragedies that have been going on. Let's look at the Twins quick. Hey, the Twins, they beat the Tampa Bay Rays today. Nice, 4-3. What is their standing right now? Let's see. Are they in first? Oh, okay, they're in second place. 76 and 64. Okay, they're second place behind the Guardians in the American League Central. Oh my gosh, the White Sox. I had been hearing that the White Sox were absolute trash this year, but I didn't know. Oh man, the White Sox, they're 32 and 109. Oh man. Rough time to be a White Sox fan right now. Okay. But yeah, I'm excited for Friday, that it's tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to have work, but I mean, who wants to work? What about you? How are you? Yes. I like it when people say hi to each other. Very good. Very nice. Zimmer strikes again. I miss Zim. Seriously. I miss him. And I said this on the last stream, and I'll just remind everybody, like, Kansas City, or not Kansas City, Dallas, they are now in the group of who I will root for when the Minnesota Vikings are done and dusted, or when the Minnesota Vikings are not playing. So those teams include Jacksonville. I like Trevor Lawrence. Sunshine bandwagon. Houston Texans. Houston. Case Keenum, even though he's gone for the season. Okay. Rest up, Case. Get better. Okay. And they have Stephon Diggs. Okay. And Dallas, they now have Mike Zimmer. They have Eric Kendricks. They have Linval Joseph, I believe. Right? Yeah, Linval Joseph. Dalvin Cook, don't really care. And Daniil Hunter. So, but it's mainly Zim. So, and I don't really even like the Cowboys. I kind of get annoyed that, like, they're kind of like Kansas City. Like, they get so much attention. They're America's team, but they made it on there. So, Zim, cheers to you. And I hope Zimmer does well. And, like, the thing with Zimmer, too, is, like, he said himself that he holds grudges. Like, he said himself. So, it's just like, at least he admitted that. I don't know. I knew we were going to hear from Zimmer. It was only a matter of when. So, Angel says, I think Sam Darnold is average. However, okay, what about now that Sam Darnold gets a chance now to work with the quarterback whisperer, Robert Redford, a.k.a. Kevin O'Connell? All right. This quarterback whisperer. It's like, okay. And that's another nickname that I came up with for Kevin O'Connell, too. Well, I didn't come up with Kevin O'Connell. That was James. So again, shout out to James that came up with that nickname. I wish I would have, but it's hilarious and I love it. But another nickname is Robert Redford because he was in the movie The Horse Whisperer. So quarterback whisperer. Let's see it, Robert. Okay. Kevin, Robert, let's see it. All right. And I'm pretty sure The Horse Whisperer was based off of a book. All right. I have not read the book, but I've seen the movie. Oh yeah. The past week. Ugh, horrible. Yes, I will say that. It's been kind of shitty. Right? But the astrological weather, the planetary weather, there's been a lot of rough shit going on, okay? We had the full moon, we had Mercury retrograde, we had some squares going on, and it's just blah. So, if anybody's been struggling and shit and frustrated, it's partly to do with the planetary weather. Mercury was retrograde. It's still in the shadow phase for, I think, another week. until the 11th, I believe. So communication wise, people still a little bit off there, and just stuff like that. So I wake up and see the headline, a celebrity per day. I know, right? And Grandizer, I don't know if you were on for this either, but I do think that there is going to be a big celebrity splash during the game tonight. So yeah. Alrighty. But like that would really be surprising. But two, just to add, like insult to injury, I'm on the mend now, but to add to the horrible, I sliced the shit out of my finger. It's kind of hard to see on my little pinky there on the crease. It's fine. I finally can kind of like bend my finger all the way, but I completely sliced it. I can't really feel the tip of my finger right now. It's numb. I totally sliced it with a knife. It was my own damn fault. It was really stupid. Totally blacked out. I didn't have to get stitches. I just kind of like willed it to not, I didn't have to get stitches, but blood everywhere. Like I said, I blacked out. And yeah, that sucked. So now I can kind of like put this finger all the way up again. So that happened to me. So I hear you on that crap. And yeah, it looks pretty decent now. And like I said, I can finally kind of fully straighten it out. And it's not so puffy anymore either. But I have some photos on my phone, but like I can't even really. And like when it happened to, like, I'm one of those people that if you talk about blood, I get lightheaded. If I see blood, I get lightheaded. So the fact that there was like blood everywhere in the sink, on the floor, everywhere, blacked out. Yeah, not good. Yeah, not good. Oh, sorry, Grant. Just completely skipped over that. What do you got here? Will you? Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry if you missed that, but I did say that on the last stream. Sorry, I'm trying to put my chair up a little bit. I am going back to doing, or that's my plan anyway, to go back and do the play-by-play for Vikings games this season. So that's the plan. That's the agenda. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I'm thinking too that I'm going to do the Planetary pregame for Vikings maybe a day before. Because I want to do more teams too. I'm obviously going to do the Vikings, do the planetary predictions on them, but I also want to kind of expand it a little bit. So I want to do one NFC team and one AFC team. So like a total of, well, 3 predictions, but I do kind of want to add that in too. So I'm hoping to do that. That'll be a lot of charts to look at, but it'll be fun. It'll be good practice for me. So I might be doing the planetary pregame like the day before. And then on Sundays, just doing the live broadcast. But that's the plan for right now. Hopefully I'll check you all there. Hopefully you'll hang out. That'll be good. All right. Okay, it's almost 7 here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. Who am I? Yeah. Yeah, I think he just went to the Cowboys. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yep. I always liked Linval Joseph too. So he was born October 10th of 1988. Yeah. But I don't know if he had like a year off or something. I guess I could check his Wikipedia here as long as we're talking about it. Yeah, he's kind of been bouncing around. Oh, that was another reason too why I liked Buffalo. So Linval was with Minnesota until 2019, and then he went to the Chargers from 2020 to 2021. He was with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2022. He was with the Buffalo Bills in 2023, and now he's on Dallas. So, and two, everybody talking about like, oh, Mike Zimmer, we didn't like you. It's like, oh, okay. Well, now there's a couple of you that said like he's the devil or Satan or whatever. Cough, cough, Eric Kendricks, allegedly. Now you're back playing for him. So apparently it wasn't that bad. All right. So I know. Yeah, slicing my finger. It was stupid. It was very stupid. And yeah, I'm just really glad. It was like at 9 p.m. and I'm like, I can't go in right now. I have to just hold this towel on my finger and hope for the bleeding to stop. I had to lay down because, like I said, I blacked out. Yeah, not fun. But it happens. This is my own damn fault. It was stupid. Poor gal. Yeah, exactly. It was so stupid. And the thing is like, I knew like a second or two before, like, stop moving the knife. You're going to slice your finger. And it was like my hand just continued to go. And it was with a serrated, ow, that hurt to hit that. It was with a serrated knife too, like right on my finger. Dumb. Be careful, everybody out there. All right. And I've only done that one other time where I sliced my finger. And that was like 15 years ago. Like and it wasn't that bad. So yeah, anyway, I don't know. Your calm feels attacked. Oh no, why? That's not good. Late night alum, how you doing? Exactly. Hit the button, people. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing here? That's very nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know, long time no see. How you been? How you been? Good, I hope. All right. Always like to see people coming back whenever, like you never left. Yeah, I'm sorry too. Oh, at work? No. Cutting fruit for your bartender. Oh no. Yeah. I was cutting a baguette. You were cutting fruit. Damn it. That it was only, there you go. So you didn't have to hurry. That's good. Yeah. What kind of fruit were you cutting? Yeah. And yeah, it was so stupid. Like, again, it was like I knew it was going to happen like a second or two before it happened. And then my hand just kept sawing away. And I was holding the bread. Stupid. I was like holding it over the sink because I wanted the crumbs to land in the sink. And I'm, knock on wood, I'm usually very good about, handling knives in the kitchen with my food and shit. So that's why the blood got all over the sink. And then I went to grab a towel. It got all over the floor. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to sit down. I'm going to black out. Meanwhile, my dog, I was like, God, ah. And then I was cooking dinner. I had to turn off the oven. I had to turn off the stove. It was a whole fucking thing. It was a whole fucking thing. Going to support Aaron Jones. Yeah, even though he's on the other side of the border now, except when okay. Yeah, you can support. Go on. Oh, that's okay. I am actually happy that the Vikings got Aaron Jones. I've always thought that he was a really, really good running back. And it's kind of reversed now, like late night alum, because you're evil fan, right? And that you got a former player over there. And that's kind of how I felt like watching Aaron Jones as a Vikings fan. Like, he's a really good player. And obviously, Vikings and the evil, they play each other a couple of times a year. So we got to see them a lot. So I'm happy about that. So thanks. But you can cheer for the Vikings, especially when they're not playing your team. Megan, Seahawks are in the building. What's going on? Happy NFL season to you, Megan. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. The psychic. Yes, I did. It was literally like 1 or 2 seconds before. And it's just like, I knew it was going to happen, but it was just like my hand kept going anyway. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. Stupid. Got blood all over my bread. Didn't even get to eat my bread. Okay. Oh, limes. Yep. I actually bought a couple limes the other day. I had lime water. Was it yesterday or today? Yeah. The limes. Little tricky little bastards, right? Rolling around. But we love the limes. You had cut oranges, then lemons. Oh, and you were finishing up on the limes. Yeah. And don't even try. If you get a cut in your hand, stay away from those lemons or limes, as we know. Supposed to be working and have a meeting right now at the start of the game. Think the boss will mind if I keep an eye on the... Nah, they don't need to know, right? He or she. They don't need to know. It's 7:01 Central Time. So we got about 19 minutes until kickoff. So, yeah. Yes, it's Megan. She's the all-star here. We have a star in the chat. You're allergic, so no thanks. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I would love to go to Australia. I say that every time Megan comes in, too. I'm going to make it there one day. And astrologically, I have a lot of... you can, if you know your astrology, like birth chart, you can look up what's called astrocartography. And then it'll give you the globe, and it'll have all of these lines going through the like continents and cities and all this stuff. So each one of those lines is represented by one of your planets in a chart. So it can be like places on the globe that can be beneficial and maybe more challenging for depending on what your personal chart is. And a lot of my like positive or like beneficial astrocartography, I've mentioned this, I think, before, but a lot of my lines actually go through Australia, in particular, Melbourne. So, yeah, I feel like if I'd go there, I'd probably feel maybe at home. And I learned that after the fact too about astrocartography. I have a couple of lines too that are going right in France where I studied for in college too, and I've always loved France. I would always love to live there, so it kind of just makes sense that I have a couple lines like running through the area in France, especially like Marseille and southern France, just for myself. And then lo and behold, I have lines, astrocartography lines that go through France. So it's like, no wonder I felt at home there. And then vice versa, you can have more challenging lines going through other places and be like, why the heck did I go travel here? And it was such a terrible time. Maybe you have some challenging astrocartography. Megan, what do you got? I have Mahomes in one fantasy teams. Oh, and Henry in the other. You're torn. Yeah. With the astrology tonight, I do think Mahomes is going to have a very good game, Megan. So I do think you're going to get some points there. I'm just looking at the chart again. And especially Patrick Mahomes, again, he's a Virgo. His sun sign is in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in Leo right now, and it's right next to the fixed star Regulus, which is a celebrity star. Okay, so yeah. Oh, really? A weather delay. Okay, that's cool that you mentioned that. Thank you, because I actually talked about some sort of like timing issue because of Saturn being in play tonight. And in charts in the past, there's been delays and things. And two, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but the Hall of Fame game, I forget, it was Texans and the Bears. Saturn came into play there too. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. It has been for a while. And the moon and Saturn were in communication. And again, Saturn can rule delays or blockages. And the Hall of Fame game got called out because of a rain, because of weather. And the moon was in Cancer, which is a water sign. Saturn in Pisces, which is a water sign. So the game literally got delayed, got cut short because of weather. And there we go, timing issue. So I had to go back in my notes, but I did remember that. So interesting. Okay. Then maybe too, if there is a delay with this game, and if it's a big delay, this chart that I pulled, it might be a little different if the game is starting at a different time. And that's kind of one of the, like, a little bit of a bummer when I do the charts, because especially for like night games and stuff like that, because the timing is so important. So if it does start later or earlier, sometimes it can drastically change the chart and therefore then potentially change the outcome. But I'm going to stick with the original chart. So let me know when you do, Jade. We must catch up. I will let you know. You will probably be the first one. I'm like, hey, come in there. Because where do you live very far? Oh, you meet me in Melbourne. Melbourne? Is that how you say it? Like, right? Because I know some people would say Melbourne, but it's Melbourne or Melbourne. Okay. Any Vikes news that caught your attention this week? Yeah, the one thing I was just kind of talking about Sam Darnold a little bit. I don't know when you entered if I was still talking about that, but yeah, they were talking about on the radio about how Sam Darnold potentially will have some potential here and could possibly do better than he's done in the past. And I do kind of think that as well. I don't know. It's just more or less off of a vibe. Because, like I said earlier, I'm not familiar with Sam Darnold's playing history in the slightest at all. But the quarterback whisperer, all right, Kevin O'Connell, Robert Redford, can you whisper to Sam Darnold and make it happen? So we'll see. And then, again, Kevin O'Connell, he's a sun in Gemini. Sam Darnold is a sun in Gemini. Justin Jefferson is a sun in Gemini. So hopefully that helps them all kind of vibe. All right. Yeah. Yeah, the astrocartography is very, very interesting. And yeah, it was cool, especially with like when I found that out much later. I was like that I have lines like running through France, and I've been there a couple of times, and I've just like absolutely loved it immediately. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you could Megan, if you do know your chart, your birth chart, I would suggest basically you need to know the exact time you were born and when, where and when, okay? The city, date, obviously all that stuff. But if you do know, you can put in either Google or you could go to Astro-Seek is a really good one, and you can just put birth chart astrocartography, and basically you will just fill out the time and date and where you were born, and it will pull the chart for you. And then basically you'll see a whole bunch of lines going across the screen. And then you can actually look at Seattle and see. I'm trying to see here. I might have here, I'll share with you because I actually already have this pulled up on my computer. So, okay. So I'll just show you mine. I'll try. Gosh, why does this have to be like this now? Oh, here we go. All right. So I'll just show you mine here quick. Yeah, you should look. It's very interesting. And I'm not an expert in astrocartography by any means. There are some astrologers that do focus in that. And they'd be able to like tell you more about the lines. So this is what it will look like here. So this is basically my birth chart. And then all of these lines going across the globe here, you know, they're like key spots. And then you can, it's kind of small. I'll blow it up a little bit here, but you can kind of see on the top here. It's kind of hard to see because it's small, but there's little. Okay, why'd you do that? No. Okay, I just lost my screen. Okay, we're back. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like. And funny too, because I mean, I'm from Minnesota, and like I have a line going right through Minnesota right here. It's my moon line, and moon can represent like past and memories too, and it's going right through Minnesota. And then if you look here, over here in Australia, I have all of these lines hovered right here. I have Saturn, Uranus, Sun, Mercury, Neptune. All of these lines right here go right through Australia over here. I do also want to make it to Albuquerque one day because I have two lines that go right through Albuquerque over here. But yeah, this is what it will look like. So I just kind of wanted to give you a visual. All right. I don't have anything going through Seattle over here. So, but yeah, all of my stuff over here in Australia. And then I have my Venus line going right. It's very close to Paris, but I was in southern France, and it's my Venus line is right here. And then the southern part of France where I was is right here. So anyway, that's just a little astrocartography, but that's what it looks like. Okay. And yeah, you can kind of see all over. Okay. Anyway, check it out. It's very, very interesting. Alrighty. Melbourne. All right. Got it. Okay. 7-Eleven people. KOC. Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, I don't mind him. I think he does a little too much coddling, in my opinion, but I don't mind him. All right. I think he's a little too soft sometimes. It's like if we could just get a mix of Mike Zimmer and Kevin O'Connell, we could just put that in a little cauldron, mix it around. I think that would be perfect. But, and again, they're both Sun and Gemini. Gemini's the twins. There's two, right? Gemini. Anywho. Okay. What does your gut tell you? Oh, how Kirk will do with the Falcons. Smoke and mirrors. Are we going to have his best play? You know, that's an interesting question. Kirk did just finish his 12th house perfection year. And I mentioned this before he went in it too, that it can be about isolation and hospitals, and he blew out his knee, ended up being in the hospital. So now he's going through a first house perfection year, which is all about your physical body, yourself, your appearance. So I don't know his personal chart. I only know that he's a sun sign in Leo. And with him, I don't know. I could see it going all right. But yeah, I feel like, but in the grand scheme of things, I think he'll probably be the Kirk that Vikings fans or, you know, fans that have watched Kirk are familiar with. Like, we've seen it. All right. So he'll probably do fine. Yeah. Anyway, check it out. Yes. You do? You have a line that runs from St. Paul to Chicago? Or are you talking about mine? I do have one that goes really close to Chicago, actually. My moon line goes close to Chicago. But have you looked yours up? Yeah, very cool. I like it. It's like a branch of astrology that I've only started kind of looking into in the last like couple of years. But like I said, there are some astrologers that specialize in astrocartography, and it's really cool too because they will, put stuff out there so you can read about it and what each line means. And then also for everyone, all of the planets play a different role in everybody's chart. So, for somebody like the benefic planets are Venus and Jupiter, but if you have a debilitated Venus or Jupiter in your personal chart, maybe one of those lines wouldn't necessarily work out all that well for you because of your own personal chart. And the same that goes with the malefic planets, Saturn and Mars. Now, somebody might have a really strong Saturn, might have a really strong Mars. So actually going to one of those lines might be beneficial. So it's very, very personal. Again, anybody interested, I suggest you get a personal chart reading. An astrologer can explain all of that. Oh, what do you got? I bet, Megan, I would bet that you do have lines that run, if not right through Seattle, very, very near it. Yeah. Because I mean, again, back to myself for a second, or just use myself as an example. I've been to France twice, and like I would love to live there. And then I find out years later, well, it got Venus, my Venus line, and my moon line not very far away either. So, yeah. And another place that I'd really like to go, and I've just been drawn to, but I've never been there, is Ireland. I have 2 lines going right through Cork, Ireland, actually. So I would probably feel right at home there too. But yeah, you should check it out. It's very interesting. And maybe too, Megan, maybe you got like if you feel it on like a spiritual level, maybe you have like a moon line going through there, or maybe Pluto even, because Pluto is very transformational, or maybe Uranus. Uranus is, surprises and the unexpected. So, like the other week when I know, yeah, exactly. That was a total Mercury retrograde example. And also, Mercury rules hands. I sliced my hand, and I actually looked at the chart, my personal chart during that time, and Mars rules cutting and rules blood. And Mars and Mercury were, I believe, they were supporting each other, and Mercury has been right near my ascendant, which rules my body, my physical self. Mercury rules the hands. Mars was supporting Mercury, cutting my hands. Mercury in retrograde. So it was like, I normally use my hands, right? And it normally is okay, but it was Mercury retrograde. Mars was in the mix. Mercury was right on my ascendant again, which rules my body, my hands, sliced it. So when stuff like that happens, I definitely look at charts because I'm like, let me astralize that and see. So it was like right there. That happened a couple of days ago. I think when was it? A few days ago. I think it was last week. Anywho's, but yeah, just a weird vibe. Yeah, for sure. And that's a perfect example. All of those things are a perfect example of Mercury retrograde shenanigans, especially like when I couldn't, get online and stuff. And a lot of the time too, when Mercury goes retrograde, usually when it's stationing, that means when it's getting ready to like stop and then spin the other way. A lot of times one of the social media platforms will go out, or there'll be airline issues too that happen during that time. So I would say maybe look out for something like that in next week too, because Mercury will be going direct. It'll be going back forward. It's right now it's still in its shadow phase. And Mercury as the planet too is a trickster planet. So you gotta watch out for that as well. Anywho. All right, it's almost game time, everybody. I am going to sign off too. I do like chatting with everybody, though. You all know that I could chat with you forever and ever. Gigi's starting to get antsy as well, so I'm sure duty calls for her. A lot of lines go through Western Africa. Yeah, oh, of course, for sure. Yeah, I'm happy to share. Yeah, no problem. And yeah, a lot of lines going through everywhere, and yeah. And two, I have a couple lines going straight through Cuba too, and I've always found Cuba to be very, very fascinating, just like the art and stuff like that. And then lo and behold, I've never been there. And always had a huge crush on Desi Arnaz too, as well. So then I find out that I have a line going right through there. So it's kind of funny. But yeah. Yeah, we love them. Yeah. All right. Zim and Kiyoshi. Oh, late night. Thank you. That's so nice. Nice. Thank you for that. Oh, very good. Vibes with the little stars. I love it. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very nice. 5 a.m. on Wednesday, December 1st, 1976. Okay, yeah. You should put that in. Put that in, and then you'll have to put the location too. But I would suggest Astro Seek or Astro Dynaist is good too. But if you just put into clickety clack on Google astrocartography birth chart, you can put that in and it'll spit that out for you. So, Sun in Sagittarius, we know that. Yeah. I would love to live in Seattle, but not in the winter. Yeah. That's cool. I've never been to Seattle either. I think I would really love the Pacific Northwest though. I just like that vibe. Never been there, but I think I would like it. And I think I would enjoy Seattle as well. But yeah, especially the winter. Yeah, not so much. Your family is from Cork? Really? Maybe that's why we vibe so much too. Oh my gosh, if I ever make it to Cork, I'm gonna have to give you a holler. And just with like Ireland being like kind of like the paranormal, kind of spooky, a little bit vibe and all that sort of stuff, I'm into it. Y'all know that I'm into it. So that's cool. Uh, Jade, I hope I'm wrong, but this feeling like it's something, oh, you have a vibe that something's afoot. Yeah, to have that feeling sometimes, especially with like the climate right now. I've mentioned this before, and I'm not trying to like fear monger or anything like that, but Uranus is going to go into Gemini in 2025. And I've mentioned this before. Uranus is the planet of disruption, of upheaval, of surprises. It's the unexpected. And in the past, when Uranus has been in Gemini, there's been, I think, the Civil War, if not one of the world wars. The French Revolution was during that time as well, and that's going to be coming up. So we might have some stuff to look out for, but whatever's going to be will be. All right. So just kind of, being aware, just stuff to look out for. But yeah, it's hard not to have that ominous feeling, especially with all the crap that's going on, right? So I feel you. Bye, Megan. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm going to duck out here soon, too, in a couple of minutes. Always good to chat with you, Megan. Thanks for joining us. All right. You have a good week, Jade. See you this Sunday. Stay safe. Thank you. You do the same, okay? Always good to see you, Grandizer. I appreciate that. All right. You be good. Okay. Lions Talk by Chat Sports. What's up? How's it going? I got to say, even though I'm a Vikings fan, Lions fan, I do enjoy watching the Lions. I like me some Dan Campbell. It's been exciting to watch you guys. So good luck this season. I think you guys might take the cake in the NFC North. Maybe the Bears might come in there, but we'll see. I'm excited to watch it all go down. So, hi Mike. Yeah, Grandizer, you know everybody. Seriously. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Seriously, Grandizer, you are the straw that stirs the drink. And I know that Dave with Minnesota Sports Talk said that, but it is true. Hey, what's up, Barbs? Good to see you. How you doing? Happy NFL kickoff to you. Yeah, very good. Thanks for popping on. I appreciate it. All right, what's going on with this game delay here? All right, it's not happening yet. Again, I did pull the chart for 7:20 Central Time. It is now 7:22. Okay, so we'll have to see when this game actually starts. And if that drastically changes the chart, then that happens. So be it. That might change some things with the prediction. It happens, but again, I just got to go with the time. So anyway, that's a bummer if it's not starting on time. But like Megan said, here we go. I talked about this, and here she is. Taylor Swift is at the game. I figured she would be there, and the chart did reflect that. And lo and behold, there she is. Yeah, I do think she'll have some of her gal pals with her as well, with Venus very close to the moon, making a trine to Jupiter. And just to touch on that too, that all that like leaked document about like this relationship between them being like fake or whatever, like I think that I don't know. My tinfoil hat conspiracy with that is that their people actually leaked that. And they're like, we didn't want that to come out. And it's like, we're all talking about them again, right? Even more so. So, food for thought. All right. Anywho, all right, everybody. Like I said, I did the chart, the astrology chart for 720 kickoff. It's now 7:23. Game hasn't started yet, but it happens. Like I said, just got to go with it. And I did pick Kansas City to win, but again, the chart might change, but I got to go with it. So, but I'll let everybody know. I'll do a little recap on at least Sunday when I do the Vikings game. And two, just a heads up, I am planning on doing Planetary pregame for the Vikings, the astrology prediction for them. And then I'm going to try to pick an NFC team and an AFC team, another NFC team, and an AFC teams, and do a couple more predictions too, just to kind of branch out a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. And then, Sunday, going to be doing the play-by-play for the Vikings. I'll be yelling, I'm sure. So hopefully I'll see everybody this weekend. And again, I really appreciate everybody hanging out today and coming through and saying hi and just hanging out and chatting. It's always fun. So we'll see if this game actually begins. Right now, we're seeing Patrick Mahomes again. So, and if you do want some more tidbits from what I think is going to happen during the game tonight, feel free to go back in the stream. Okay, so now it says that kickoff is at 7:40. Okay, just because I just saw that right now, I'm gonna put in that time just to see if it changes things really dramatically here. Because I have to go what Google tells me. All right. So let's put that in there. It did change a couple of things here. It did change a couple of things. Okay. Okay. It did change a couple of the planets. Yeah. I'm going to deep dive this the new time when I sign off, but yeah, that's part of the astrology life. You got to go with the time. So, I do think, there is going to be some sort of like, I do think Baltimore is going to put up a fight here. And I do think that it's going to be close. And if Baltimore does end up winning tonight, I do think it will be because of Lamar Jackson. Like, he's going to lead the way with that. Okay? And, I'm going to still go with my main prediction because I can't, go off too much. But, but I'll see. I'll recap it on the next one, okay? All right, everybody. I've said bye like 10 times, but it was like a squirrel because I saw like the right time. So 7:40, did the chart for 7:20 again. Change a couple of things, but it happens. So, all righty. Late night alum, what do you got? How do you feel about Pluto cycling through all the signs finally last time this happened? It was, Pluto takes, what is it? 200 years? Over 200 years to go through all the signs? Yeah. So I just bent my finger that I fucking sliced. Sorry. Try not to swear too much on here. Ow, that really hurt. So Pluto going into Aquarius, it's been the first time since the 1700s. Yeah, you're right. And I think it's really interesting. Actually, Pluto dipped back into Capricorn right now. It's going to be in Capricorn for a few months before it officially goes back into Aquarius and stays in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So, and Pluto is the planet of transformation and of death and rebirth. And funny enough about Pluto is that the United States has a birth chart as well, and all the countries do, right? Everybody does. The United States is currently going through its Pluto return. So Pluto is returning to the place where it was when America was born. So an interesting thing that I've read is that no country has ever survived its Pluto return. So that's some food for thought. And the US is currently going through it right now, going through the Pluto return. But the outer planets, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, they move so slowly. So it's like this is gradual, right? So, and I think we've all been kind of like feeling this too, right? There's like a huge shift. And again, with the death and rebirth, and with Pluto being all about transformation, and with it going into the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius is very out there. It's new wave. So I do think in the next 20 years, there will be some sort of like otherworldly communication. I mean, we already know this. Technology is just going to completely transform as well. And then with Pluto going back into Capricorn, Capricorn is like old business, old structures, old money. And again, Pluto transforms everything. So with it going back into Capricorn again, before it goes back into Aquarius, like these next few months here, we could see some like major upheavals, especially within the United States, but just on a global level too. And yeah, moving into the future too as well. And then a lot of people talk about the age of Aquarius, and it's really the air age. We're in the air age right now because of the conjunction between the greater benefic Jupiter and the greater malefic Saturn that we had. Was it in 2023? December of 2023, or was it I think it was 2022, a couple years ago. So it's like a complete new shift. But yeah, so late night, you're right. 1776, because that was when America was born. So yeah, going through the Pluto return. So it's going to be interesting to watch. And not to mention that Pluto is going to be in Capricorn during the US's election as well. And when planets are at the 29th degree of a sign, it's a very, very potent and very, very potent time, because the 29th degree is very, very critical, because each sign is made up of 30 degrees. So the early degrees of signs are extremely crucial, and so are the later degrees as well. So yeah, I hope that answered some of your questions. But yeah, Pluto, transformational planet for sure. And I still consider Pluto a planet. And Pluto is also retrograde too. And that's why it's dipped back into Capricorn before, again, moving to Aquarius. And yeah, this is going to be the last time in our lifetime that Pluto is going to be in Capricorn. And again, it's been there for the past like 20 years or so. It'll spend the next 20-ish years in Aquarius. And it's an important time for everybody, but especially for people that have Aquarius placements and Leo placements as well, because Leo and Aquarius are opposite. And for the cardinal signs right now, with Pluto going back into Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra are the cardinal signs. So the cardinal signs, if you have planets there too, could be also feeling this like this push, this extra energy. And it's not like it's anything new, because like I said, the outer planets move slowly. So it's not like an overnight thing. It's more gradual. Like in years from now, you might be able to look back and be like, whoa, those years, stuff went down. So anyway, yeah, I love the astrology questions, but yeah, how do you feel about it? I mean, that's just like a little snippet. And yeah, as somebody personally with Leo placements, I'm a Leo rising, and Aquarius placements, yeah, I feel like I've definitely been feeling some of those transformational vibes. So, and I have Capricorn placements too. So, anywho, yeah. Anyway, so anybody else got anything, or we good? Otherwise, I'm really doing the Minnesota goodbye here, but that's cool. You guys know I got the gift of gab, and I like talking, and especially about Aquarius, about astrology, and stuff like that. So you just put a dime in me. I'll just keep going, right? Just keep talking away. Put a quarter in there. So anyway, game hasn't started tonight, but yeah. Again, if anybody's more interested in like the details as to what I think is like the intrinsic, I can never say that word, the intricate things that might happen tonight, you can go back earlier in the stream. But yeah, main thing was Taylor's gonna be there, probably gonna be there with her girlfriends. Gonna be a huge celebrity sighting, huge event. The home team, the crowd's gonna be just insane. They're gonna be excited, and like those things are kind of obvious, but again, it's just really funny that the chart actually supports that as well. And yeah, it might be kind of rough for Baltimore, but I think they're going to hang in there. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. We'll see. And if Baltimore does end up winning, I think it will be at the hands of Lamar Jackson. No pun intended. But yeah, I could see Lamar struggling maybe a little bit too, but yeah, we'll see. Anywho, late night. Oh, you're a Capricorn sun? Me too. Okay. And you got a Cancer. Oh, Cancer moon. So your sun and moon are opposites too, which is very fascinating. It's like this opposite energy, but it's also like attractive and magnetic. And with your moon in Cancer, that's a dominant placement because the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So you're probably very, very intuitive. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you have we all have the psychic abilities, the intuitive abilities. We all have those, but especially somebody with a Cancer moon. And I will just say too that a lot of people that are close to me, just me personally, have Cancer moon. Like a couple of my best friends have Cancer moon. And I think it's because I have a Capricorn sun. So it's like that opposite. And then oftentimes you can then get some of the energy of the opposite sign too. So that's cardinal placements. Oh, you have a Leo rising. There we go. We're very similar charts. So yeah. So your moon is in the 12th house as well. So I could see you definitely like your dreams being very, very maybe prophetic or very, very vivid dreams too. And especially communication with the other side naturally with Cancer moon and the moon in the 12th house. So cool. And you're ruled by your sun in Capricorn because your ruling planet is whatever planet rules your rising sign. So my sun in Capricorn also rules my chart because I'm a Leo rising and Leo is ruled by the sun. So you're ruled by your sun sign. So yeah, cool. I like it. And some Aquarius in there. Very good. Yeah, very colorful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, that's cool. I feel like we've talked about this before. This kind of like rings a bell a little bit. So, anywho. Oh, man. All right, we got Mike Tirico here, and then we got Creepy Chris over here. All right. I am so shocked, but I guess this is NBC, that we didn't get He Who Shall Not Be Named in Troy. So, all right. Okay. I think my dog, she's staring at me, and she keeps staring outside. So, probably go out there, and I think she just heard me say outside. So, it's all good. And yeah, I just it's cool too just to see things like play out in the chart and then or what I saw in the chart and see it play out in the game. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good game, everybody. And thanks again for hanging out. I really appreciate all of you. Hopefully I'll see you this weekend if you want to stop by. That would be great. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening and have a great next couple of days, Friday, all that good stuff. So I'll catch everybody next time, okay? Oh, here we go. The teams are coming out. It's all happening, people. It's